Let's start off Koppai Podcast, episode 34, with a little bit of play and tell. Play and tell is a segment where we talk about the games we've been playing. If you want to engage in the conversation, be sure to comment down below what you've been playing. And if you're listening to this snippet, like we were just talking about, you can listen to the whole show on youtube.com/Koppai Gaming, as well as iTunes, SoundCloud, and more by searching for Koppai Podcast. Zach?
Yes.
What are you playing?
I have been playing
a hit Nintendo title.
Yes, the brand new hit on the Wii U, No Man's Sky. Non-stop, all day, every day, No Man's Sky. It's just what I've been it's been my addiction for the past about,
it is an addiction. I'm gonna make the thumbnail for this whole, this snippet, this part of like the YouTube video, just the logo for No Man's Sky, and it's gonna be like, this is a Nintendo podcast? What are you guys doing? But no, I mean, it's a freaking awesome game. Like, we are Nintendo fanboys. We're loyal to Nintendo, but come on. It's No Man's Sky. We got the Steel Book. We got ourselves, the art book, comic book. I have the tattoo of the little diamond thing on my wrist. I really don't have the tattoo of any No Man's Sky stuff. I think that would actually probably look pretty cool.
Yeah, it would. That little Atlas thing or something?
Yeah, the little, the little thing that's from the trailer. Yeah, I think that is, I haven't really explored, honestly, any of the game, but I do know, there's, I think one encounter, kind of early on where I think they call it the Atlas, and it's just shaky, vibrating. And I just go up and lick it and touch it and snuggle up next to it.
I think it's the same case, with Fallout 4 and stuff, though, or... It was we went all out on it, and it's one of those games where you really can't, if you're you can be a fan of Nintendo and primarily a fan of Nintendo, but you got, if you're a fan of games, you're just a fan of games, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's I'll play games on my mobile device, I'll play games on my Vita, on my 3DS, I'll even go back and play my N64, or, I'll play Sony PlayStation 1 games on
Scrabble,
my, classic board games. So it's just, a good game's a good game, regardless of the system.
Basketball, football.
No Man's Sky is on both PS4 and PC. We happen to get, we've been crying to Nintendo for a very long time to do trophy support or some sort of thing like that, achievements or something with their games. And I think that was it's one of those decisions of even now thinking about, because it came out on PC so much quicker, I guess, than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And it was with Fallout 4 and stuff, just the PC is kind of the place to play for a lot of first person games and for the high fidelity of the best graphics. My computer's pretty capable of doing that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's on a huge screen, ready to go, it has trophies, which I've already unlocked a lot of different cool trophies for it that feel great. And so it's man, I really want Nintendo, the NX really needs to have some sort of achievement system, because that really helps a lot, because I think it'll keep me playing No Man's Sky even after whatever sort of finish or conclusion it may have in it.
Well, there's the one that's all glitched out right now, which stuff like that just gives me such anxiety where oh no, I want to get them all. That could go either way with the NX, with the whole achievement system thing, but it's a proven fact. Colin Moriarty previously from IGN and now from Kinda Funny, he makes it a crucial point that trophies are required for games nowadays, because there's science and statistics backing up the fact that people won't sell their games as quickly. If they're, or even at all, if there's an achievement sort of lure to hook them back onto it and keep them around playing the game.
Yeah.
And there's also when you have an investment in this achievement ecosystem, you're more likely to buy a game on this respective console and stuff like that. And so, and there's also reasons they've done certain things, so they've released PlayStation 3 games that didn't have trophies, or PS2 games, and have brought them back with trophies, and people have rebought them for the added challenge of getting completion, which Nintendo would be able to do that a lot with. And so, one thing I did want to ask, I think with No Man's Sky, because we're not going to do a full review of this game, or discussion on No Man's Sky here in our Nintendo podcast. But it did it did make me want to bring up two things. One, just the fact that the game is awesome. If you have a Wii U, if you have a 3DS, you most likely have a PlayStation or a gaming PC. Odds are you have one or the other or both. And so definitely go pick up this game if you haven't already. It's been out, or like it's been in the public eye for 3 years, and with that there's been a lot of expectations. If you've been able to manage those well, and also you just combine that with an excitement, and I think it's a lot of what you see is what you get, but in a way that you didn't really realize what you were seeing, it's meeting every one of my expectations and also exceeding them, and also like not at the same time. It's just hitting them so well that it seems like it is exceeding them, but I think it's exactly what I envisioned, which is perfection. The other thing though that I think is really cool is just the fact that the game is so big and so encouraging of exploration. Because it's all procedurally generated, that's one of the big hooks of the game, is that it's able to do all the stuff it's doing because of its procedural generation, which basically means as you go throughout the game, stuff is just being generated on the spot. We see this with a lot of games. I think even with the previously discussed Hive Jump game where we had Matt Rathel on, I think Hive Jump is procedurally generated.
Yeah, but I think that this is a bit of a unique case because I believe that No Man's Sky is set up where the universe is all there. And it is one thing, and it's all just kind of a mathematical code where the code knows where everything is and what is there, but only when you actually go and see it and experience it does it actually generate all of that stuff. So it's not like constantly in the game data. It's much actually like a simpler just code of numbers basically that somehow get
sine, cosine, and tangent and all that stuff in your high school algebra.
that just like it's a lot like kind of how the real world works, where kind of as you're witnessing something, your brain is kind of forming the picture of it, but it's all there. It's just there are some of those theories about like what is like when a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, does it make a sound sort of thing, like where
if a planet blows up in No Man's Sky and no one's around to procedurally generate it, like did it even blow up? Like
it was making me wonder too about like when they release updates and stuff, could they make it so that suddenly it's like there's so many undiscovered planets out there where their updates, if they like added new animals or a new sort of thing where all the undiscovered planets became updated, but all the other ones kind of stayed how they are. I kind of wondered about that situation. Like,
I'm wondering, I don't know how they're going to be able to update it without, like, they can't change the super formula. So, because if they do that, then the whole thing changes. Like, they even said it, they had an E3 demo set up, but then they had to change a bug, and when they went back to do the same demo area, like, they wanted to make it look as if it was a beautiful planet, like, worth presenting. And after they fixed the bug for the demo, the whole planet looked ugly. And they were like, crap, like, we're on a completely different planet now. Like, we need to go back and change it so we can have these things that are worth showing off at E3. And, like, it's just, that was a little kind of ticker that's just like, uh-oh, this could be very bad for patching. To bring it back towards Nintendo, my question is kind of close out, like, the play and tell, or not to close out the play and tell, but to kind of put a focus on it. Is since we've been playing so much No Man's Sky, like, is there anything that we could kind of want to see bring or be carried over into the Nintendo world as far as like a popular IP, a popular franchise of Nintendo that could work procedurally generated? Like, obviously the first response, especially with it being on everyone's mind, is like, oh, do a Metroid thing where it's, you know, you're exploring the galaxy, but you're Samus. But part of me is like, I think that could turn out really awesome, especially since Metroid is, that No Man's Sky seems to be very Metroid inspired with the way the doors open, how there's some doors you can't get through at first, this kind of sense of progression and all that. Like, Metroid could easily do something like that. But then you even start to think of kind of like going back to Hive Jump as an example of like these other kind of games where it's like, potentially having like a Mario game that's procedurally generated, so the platforming code is in there, so there's like these elements that are constant and these other variables that can change. but imagine like a nonstop side-scrolling Mario where you just can, go like
Mario Runners.
Mario Runners, yeah, or Mario. I guess it'd be like Mario Jumpers or something.
Yeah,
I'm surprised actually that's not a mobile game, like with Doodle Jump out there. There's not like
I'm sure there's several, like, because I was looking for the Sonic Runners because supposedly it's out somewhere, but I can't find it on my Play Store. But I noticed there's lots of little knockoff games that are very much like the Sonic Runners, and there's one called like Sonic Running something where it's some character that's just in a Sonic costume basically, and then there's like some like Knuckles costume that somebody wears, like a shadow one, but it's basically like a Sonic platforming game that's an endless runner sort of concept that is really just a rip-off of Sonic Runners. But I would not be surprised if there are like Mario platformer sort of things on the Play Store already.
Yeah.
So, and I mean there's already tons of like Zelda knockoffs and already I'm sure like platforming experiences that are supposed to be just like Mario on the Play Store that maybe aren't endless procedurally generated, but are kind of that experience.
Yeah, I was also thinking another good franchise that could be like procedurally generated is something along the lines of like Triforce Heroes with Zelda, how that was like taking the puzzle dungeon mechanic of Zelda, but kind of implementing it in like little shorter, just kind of level kits and stuff. I wonder if they could do something like that where you have something like, I'm thinking of like Diablo 3, and I think also some of those other like Alien Nation or Dead Nation where you have like those kind of top-down games, like those, click shooters or, where you have like those kind of top-down views and you just kind of go through and you solve the puzzles and you kill the enemies and all that, like something like that with Zelda where you just are Link going from dungeon to dungeon, like that could also kind of maybe go and pay off well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one because I thought of this question kind of early on in the weekend with thinking of this game, Play and Tell, Koppai and all that.
Yeah.
Of like what else could be procedurally generated, and a lot of like, it seems like a lot of games could be, but I'm just trying to think of what ones benefit from it, because No Man's Sky like couldn't be done without that being the hook. It's not like it's like, oh, it's this kind of game, but it's also procedurally generated, like Hive Jump could be set levels, like No Man's Sky could not be without it being way too much of a task for Hello Games. Like, Hive Jump having procedural generation makes it unique and fresh and adds a nice little spice to it, but it's not an absolute necessity.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what kind of game with a Nintendo IP would be absolutely crucial on that, and when I think of that, the only scope I could have would be space, and I just thought of it, Pikmin would be so legit.
Yeah, that could really, really work. Yeah.
If you have Pikmin and you just go to different planets and you have your little Pikmin crew and you land and you're Captain Olimar and it's just like, here's a planet and you have, maybe they go back to the whole, you have a certain amount of days, or your spaceship only has this much resources, so you're on this new planet and every planet you go to is different and it's just nonstop. Like you can just go, and it's not so much about the end game of like fixing up your ship or collecting this much. It's really just about how you approach these different planets with your Pikmin. Like that could be really neat.
Yeah.
And the discovery aspect of it, of going with your Pikmin and finding these new places with new objects to carry off with your Pikmin. Since that game was all about like logging your adventures and your journey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's our answer.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts I had, like you mentioned the whole Axiom Verge and sort of Metroid comparison. I definitely think, like you said, it doesn't really require it, but I do think Metroid could really work in that way where every time you experience it, it's a new sort of thing, and then they could have bosses at the end of each one that are maybe procedurally generated or something where it's always a unique boss, but maybe after a certain amount it's the final boss of an area or something like that. And another thought I had was like Animal Crossing. We already kind of see when you get a new town, it is somewhat like a random layout. I don't know if those are like already pre-programmed in there, because it seems after a while they kind of start cycling through. You have sort of your preset layouts that they have for you. But I was thinking of like a more grand scale Animal Crossing game where they could have potentially traveling from town to town, and when you go to a new village, it's all procedurally generated, and the fact that Animal Crossing is just such a huge little universe with lots and lots of different animals, and I think the capability of like a system where they could make it so there's different animals that you could never like find them all, or you know, like a way where like it's an owl sort of bird hybrid.
Yeah, it's a blue owl named Bobby, and it always has the aggressive personality, you know, like, or something like there's just so many different factors that you could put in where it's just like...
So much text that they put into those and items and things that they could really have a huge world to explore that's also kind of generating itself in random sort of ways that they could do in creative ways, I bet, at Nintendo that we've never seen before in another kind of game. So I think that could really work for maybe a procedurally generated thing.
Yeah, because it is kind of immersion breaking, like when you feel connected to your Animal Crossing village and then you find out like someone else has the same citizen in their town.
Yeah,
you're like, what?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
But like if it was always like if there was the type of animal, the personality they had, the color of their fur, and their personality were all like on different variables. And there's only like certain constants, like if they're this animal, they're always this gender, or if they have this gender, they're always this personality. But you have those little tickers and stuff that go where you could have like a town that has someone that like combinations that no one else would ever have, and with their houses that have unique styles and different furniture, like they don't walk in and it's just like, oh, this is the sports maniac, you know, like this is the boxing guy, like it's just different pieces of furniture that work together, just like with No Man's Sky. Like it's not like it is all completely random, like there must be some sort of variables and constants that, like I go to a rock planet that's hot and it doesn't have water, like it's not like this planet is going to be super hot, but it's going to have a ton of palm trees and water, you know, like it does kind of all work together in its own way, even though it is also based in complete randomness. And so,
Another
you could
thought,
have that same sort of thing. But yeah, I think I was actually thinking of Animal Crossing before I said Pikmin, but I also think one of the big things of that is how nice it is to have your small little compact village.
Yeah, that's true. Another thought that I had that might work is a Pokemon game where the region, like it's a region that, or multiple regions that are generating themselves, and maybe like because of Pokemon having such a large amount of Pokemon, it would seem like that could really encourage a lot of exploration to catch them all, even if they didn't randomly create, generate, the Pokemon themselves, where it's like...
Procedurate.
Yeah. Where it's not like something with a Pikachu head and a Rattata body or something, you know, but it's like just the region itself where maybe gym leaders in each like kind of town have a unique name and maybe have a unique sort of set of Pokemon, like depending on a typing, and they match sort of they just continuously rise in levels through the game, like where eventually you're fighting like ridiculously, like maybe there's no level cap, you just can constantly explore, like, I don't know, maybe the no level cap would be a little unrealistic, but maybe like level 100 is still the cap, but it like takes quite a while to get to that or something. I don't know. I just feel like...
Well, then you get to the whole IVs and EVs thing, so maybe like you get to an area where they're all level 100, but they have crap IVs, you know, and...
Yeah. That was just like the only really 3 franchises I could really think of, I guess, besides like a Mario Endless Runner sort of thing, would just be the Animal Crossing.
Super Mario Maker's kind of already your procedurally generated,
that's true,
Mario game. I bet there's some franchise out there though that would just be like, this is perfect, but Pikmin though is my vote. Pikmin or Animal Crossing.
I also think Pikmin sounds the most interesting, and I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what Pikmin 4 is.
Yeah. I wonder where they're going to go with that franchise, because Pikmin 3 was so like, they're all so different. They're not like, there's not like a natural progression. It's always just like something new. So I don't know where that's going. Speaking of just what we're playing to wrap up this segment, I had mentioned I'm trying to get my wife into video games, and her birthday was yesterday, and she's been playing tons of Miitomo, tons of Sonic Dash, tons of Pokemon Go. She loves Pokemon Go. Mm-hmm. And when we do play like a console game, she's been loving Minecraft and Mario Kart and stuff like that. And so I decided to get her a 2DS for her birthday. And I just have to share with the Koppai Nation, I've never played a 2DS before. This little thing is super cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't let anyone discourage you from getting a 2DS. If you know what it is and you feel like you would like it, you probably will, because I've played hers several times so far. I installed Animal Crossing and Mario Kart 7 on it. Mario Kart 7 came bundled with it. And then I got her like Pokemon Picross. I got her the demo to Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Disney Art Academy's demo, and some other stuff, Pokemon Shuffle. So she has a nice little catalog of games. I gave her New Super Mario Bros. 2, as a physical cartridge in there, just my copy. And so she's been all set to go, but like I played New Super Mario Bros. 2 on there just to test it and see how the screen was, make sure it was all good to go. And I was having like a little blast with it. And then last night, she was getting ready for bed, and I laid down and was getting her 2DS set up for her next day at work, like making sure everything was organized and ready to go. And I downloaded a few more demos for her, and it was just like I was like just so drawn to pick it up and keep playing with it, because it's just so like compact and tiny.
Yeah,
it makes me really want to get like eventually. Honestly, maybe I don't know. I love the XL screen, but I love how compact it is, and to get like one of the ones with the face plates could be really nice.
Yeah,
to have like, I don't know, maybe get like an on-the-go 3DS or something, so I don't take my Majora's Mask one everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm loving her 2DS, and she's been loving it too. Fortunately, I was super nervous she wouldn't, because it's like she's not traditionally a gamer. It's her birthday.
I was wondering about that too. Yeah.
It's like, is this kind of like, all right, you're pushing your hobby onto me? And she texted me today while she was at work, because she works as a nanny. And sometimes she has super busy days. Other times she has 2 to 3 hours of nothing to do because the babies are asleep, and she's just sitting at work like, well, now what? Because she usually just doesn't bring anything with her at work to do, because she can't bring in like her laptop, because that's too big to bring into work, and get it all set up and stuff, because she may be in the nursery, maybe she's in the kitchen, whatever.
Yeah.
And so the 2DS is perfect, because she can slip it in her purse and walk into work, and it's not like awkward or anything to bring it in. And it's also small enough that she can probably just carry it with her when she's carrying the babies around, and then just pull it out when they fall asleep,
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so she texted me today twice. One time she sent a picture of her playing Pokemon Picross, and she said, "Baby nap number 1." And then she then she just texted me like a moment before Koppai and said, "All right, it's official. I love Animal Crossing." And I was like, "No way!" And she's like, "I just caught enough bugs and enough seashells to pay off my down payment on my house, and now I'm trying to save up to get some new furniture." And I like told her, like, if you shake fruit off trees, you can sell fruit for lots of money. If you get like foreign fruit, make sure you plant fruit trees. And she's like, "Ooh, no way! Like, I'm gonna go do that now." And I set her up with it last night on her birthday. So like, Isabel wished her a happy birthday, and she seemed to be enjoying it and stuff. She got stuck on the second level of New Super Mario Bros. Because she didn't realize you could go down pipes, which, for everyone listening to Koppai will do a facepalm. Like, how did you not know you can go down a Mario pipe? But when you think about it, I guess they don't really make that clear. Like, I mean, it's just a pipe. Like, you would think you just walk on it and stuff. Like,
we were kind of talking about this, about like, I kind of thought you'd probably eventually figure it out. Like, if you just have nowhere else to go and there's just kind of a pipe there that's, like, I don't know, it seems like eventually of just hopping around, maybe not, but that is interesting. And also the thought about if they did release a new Mario game where there was a little prompt that said, Mario can run to the right and Mario can jump and go down pipes, like, and it had to, every single new Mario title it explained that to you. I think at this point we'd kind of feel insulted a bit.
Or Super Mario Maker a lot of times has like arrows that are pointing like this is where you go, because like it's not as obvious maybe, but I don't know. It was like there was a gap above the wall behind the pipe, and she would run up to it, but you couldn't run any farther to the right. And she's like, I don't know why I can't go this way. And then to the left was like some bricks she could smash. And she's like, I'm smashing all the bricks. I'm trying to go up to the right. I don't know where to go. And I'm like, all right, go stand on the pipe and hit the down button. And she's like, no way. And she went down underground, and she's like, there's a whole other world down here. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's Mario. What are you talking about? And the entire time, because she thought she clicked Mario Kart, because she knows Mario Kart, and she thought it was just like the loading screen for Mario Kart. So she's like, when can I start racing? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we're getting her into it. We're trying to get her all set up, but she's loving it, and so that's kind of a little bit of my play intel. It's just the fact that she's getting into that. Hopefully tonight when she gets home, maybe we can do some download play, because now I have a Triforce Heroes buddy. And
yeah, that's really cool.
Hopefully she hasn't really played many Zelda games before.
I really want to try that still.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it, because it's just, I don't really want to try it without having at least one other person.
Right. Yeah.
And with her, that could be really fun to be in the same room. Like, I think we could probably do like Wi-Fi play with each other. You and I could, but
yeah.
Unless we did a Skype or party chat on PlayStation, it'd just be super tricky. But yeah, be sure to leave comments down below with what you've been playing. If you've been playing tons of games, it doesn't have to be Nintendo, but if you've been playing Nintendo games, be sure to let us know. I do want to go back to Yoshi's Woolly World and Earthbound. And I played a little bit more Triple Deluxe, but
yeah, I need to finish Link's Awakening.
You do, yeah. You were talking about that last week. Mm-hmm. And so that concludes Play and Tell. But yeah, be sure to leave comments down below.